Dive right in, let's go. Move forward and dip in your toes. Let the rhythm take control. It's going down tonight, yeah. Dive right in, let's go. Move forward and dip in.
Hey guys, what's going on, everybody? This is Dane from NyynewsTV. This is the Heat Sheet Podcast. Carlos is my co-host. You guys know him probably better online. It's Yankees Farm. Carlos, how you doing today, bud?
Good, man. How you doing, Dane?
Good. So we're going to start the week talking about a couple players that we think should be affecting the Major League roster. Wanted to touch on Oswald Peraza first. What do you got?
Oswald Peraza has been scorching hot down at AAA. For the month of May, he's actually hitting 362, 400 OBP, 1187 OPS, 8 extra base hits, 6 home runs, and you've seen plenty of clips that I've posted of him for the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
He's just been hot.
He's just been hot. And the power numbers are a little bit better this year compared to last year. He's got 89 at bats in AAA or something like that. He's got 6 home runs. That's a little ahead of his pace from last year.
Yeah, the numbers are definitely looking a little bit better. It's just a progression of his. My only wish is that it would have been happening in the Bronx instead of at Scranton.
Gosh, isn't that the truth?
And that's by the way, that's not a knock on Volpe. Volpe's getting his licks up at the major league level where he should be.
Right. And coming out of spring with Volpe, for me, I was a big Peraza at shortstop guy coming into spring.
Yes.
Volpe won that competition. There's no denying that. And they have to give him enough run at that spot before they ever consider sending him down. That's who they chose. They need to play him there. Peraza needs to find a different position, either second or third, and be in the future part of the MLB club that way. Don't you think?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I went into the season thinking Peraza was this default shortstop.
Yeah.
The Yankees wanted to make it a competition, and I mean, as much as you have people now Monday morning quarterbacking it,
right?
Volpe just won that competition. There's just no doubt about that. He played way better than Peraza did. And unfortunately, Peraza is a bit of a slow starter. He has done this in the past, but once he gets on, he gets on. And as far as Volpe right now, I know a lot of people are calling for a demotion and things like that. You can't do that to him at this point. You made a decision, and now you got to stick with it.
Yeah. Hal Steinbrenner said they were going to give him the year. That's what I really honestly expect. I mean, if he's hitting 180 in the middle of July, then you have a discussion. But let's pump the brakes on switching Volpe for Peraza until then.
I mean, I think even if he is hitting 180, you still have to stick with him. Of course, it's not what you want, but he should have never been put in a position where he has to produce right away.
No,
it didn't happen to Jeter. When Jeter came up, it wasn't because they wanted him. It was because I believe Tony Fernandez got hurt.
Right.
And then around them, they had Tino, they had Paulie, they had Bernie, they had other people to cover up or to make up for the lack of offense that they were expecting out of Jeter. But unfortunately, or fortunately for the Yankees, he produced.
Yeah, but that's a bigger issue with the Major League club is they don't have consistent enough hitting to cover the sins or whatever you want to call them of what
the lack of offense
doing right now. They should have better bats around him so they don't have to count on him at this point. Whatever they get from him is extra.
Yeah, I think that's an issue that we've seen also on we've seen people speak about it before. It's just the roster construction is perplexing at times. You're counting on a lot of veterans who typically miss time or are inconsistent and things like that. So it's a bit frustrating.
Now, I've been thinking about this a lot. What is Peraza's future at the Major League level if it is with the Yankees? Do you
I hope it is. I like Peraza. I hope it is. I thought he was going to be the shortstop, and no knock on Volpe. There still is a possibility that Peraza could be the shortstop one day. I mean, if he's not used in a trade or something like that, or move to third base, where I think right now he probably should be.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that. Is I think he should be at third base right now. Pete and I discussed this earlier this week. He's a bigger body kid. He's 6'1", 6'2", 205, 210. And power is the last thing to develop. So
and he's coming into it.
And he's coming into it. So why not stick him at third base where he can make all those plays. He has the arm to make every single throw. There's no question about that. And as the power develops, maybe he becomes a 25, 30 home run guy that hits 275, 280. But they have Josh Donaldson coming back this week. And you really got to wonder how long that leash is for Josh Donaldson. What's your feelings on Donaldson?
I don't care for Josh Donaldson, not one iota. I don't care for him on the field. I don't care for him off the field. Fuck that guy. That's my feeling about Josh Donaldson. And I'm ready. I was ready to move on last season.
Yeah. Weren't we all?
Whatever Donaldson is going to give you right now, I would bet my house that Peraza can do better than whatever he's going to give you. I mean, what are you going to expect from him? 220, maybe 230, 12, 14 home runs, solid
We're
defense.
A third of the way.
Peraza can already do all of that. Peraza can do all of that for a fraction of the cost. I mean, it's already paid for, but I don't see why he's still on this team.
I don't either. I just don't either.
It's a hope. It's a hope and a prayer that maybe he can hit 250, which I very much doubt. I don't care how much he tweaks his mechanic.
But he had a double and a home run in the game last night, bud.
He's just done. He's done, and unfortunately, Father Time doesn't forgive and is unforgiven. I mean, is undefeated. He's just come to that point in his career where he shouldn't be starting. Shouldn't even be on this team.
No, he really shouldn't. So what else happened at AAA this week?
Well, you have one guy. Well, Chaparro, again, he's hit over 400 this week, hit 412, 381, which one weird thing about Chappie is he's not getting the extra base hits. But
he hasn't been the last couple of weeks.
No, he hasn't been. He didn't get a single extra base hit last week, but he's still getting on base. He's still hitting, putting the ball in play, finding holes.
But do you ever think he really is going to get a chance at any place other than a DH spot?
I mean, it's his calling card. It's definitely his calling card. I like the guy. I would love to see him get an opportunity. The guy hits. He just hits.
He reminds me of a guy we just saw in the Major League Series, Nelson Cruz, where he just flat hits it. No matter where he goes, what he does, he hits. But really has trouble finding a defensive home.
And if the DH is where he ultimately ends up, then so be it. As long as his bat is in the lineup somewhere, because he makes very loud contact when he's in the lineup.
Oh, he does. He's a very productive hitter. And I think on a team that's struggling offensively in the Bronx, there's a place for that. But G's coming back in a week. I mean, it just
it's something that we did touch on, right? It was a perfect time for him to audition, get it like 2 months or whatever Stanton's been out for. I mean, the guy makes contact, and he makes lots of loud contact. I was looking at his strikeout rate. I think it was 20%, I want to say, which for a slugger is really good.
Oh, that's almost ideal for a power bat like that. You get below in the low 20s for a guy that puts up his kind of power numbers. 20% strikeout rate's very, very good. Will Warren got another start last night. Had a pretty good one.
He did. He had a nice bounce back week. I think he went 6 innings. I want to say 2 earned runs, two unearned runs from a Donaldson error. Shout out to Donaldson for that. And 8 Ks. I believe he had 8 Ks on the night. So a pretty good game for him.
Now, I read that he was having a little adjustment period to the ball, since in AA they're using a stickier ball and in AAA they're not. And he was struggling to get grip on it. Have you heard anything about that?
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I was reading that Randy said the same thing during the first month, that he couldn't adjust to the feel of the ball. And he's made some adjustments since then. And, he pitched his last 5 outings at AAA. He did pitch very well. ERA of about 2.6, I want to say, over his last 5 games.
2.67 over the last 27 and a third is what you sent me.
I think it was.
Yeah. And now
it's been night and day. It's been night and day, because during the first month he had an ERA of almost 7. So there's been a great adjustment from him.
Yeah, there has. It seems like he's found the ability to grip and control the ball a little bit better. And since we're talking about Randy, we might as well talk about his major league start. He had a really good, solid start.
He did, and I don't know if you remember, but I texted you the night before and I told you what did I tell you that I expected from him? And I would consider success.
5 innings, 3 runs,
3 runs, 5 Ks.
5 Ks.
Yeah. And he did what, 4 and 2/3, 2 earned runs, 6 Ks.
Yeah.
I considered it a success. He was basically one, I think it was a cutter that was flat, and Soto didn't miss it.
No. And Soto is the guy that if you're going to make a mistake too, he's going to put it in the seat somewhere.
And especially the way he's playing right now.
Yeah. I don't fault Randy for that. I think you could see how talented he is based on the pitches, how much they move. That changeup was better than I thought it was. It's better than I had seen it. Those breaking balls, the sweeper and the curveball, are just absolutely filthy. I think we'll see him again this year in some kind of role. He's a guy that could probably pare it down a little bit, and his stuff would play up out of the bullpen if we really needed it with as wiped as our pen is.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Like I said, I considered it, what he did was a success. That's a game the Yankees, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't think they did win it, but that's a game they should have won, especially getting that from him, getting that performance out of him.
Yeah, for sure. And then Johnny Brito, who has been in the major league rotation, came back down and had his first start in AAA.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
5 innings, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 6 Ks. He was up to 97 miles an hour. I saw he had 16 swing and misses. 4 on the change, 3 on the curve, which is something that, we've spoken about before, something that he needs to work on. Stuff.
I think we'll probably see him back in some role too. He's got a golden opportunity right now where he got to go up earlier than expected to see how his stuff played. And he's definitely got some things to work on. And now he can go back to AAA and work on those. And that's what you hope from successful pitching prospects, is they get a taste and then they make adjustments.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have no doubt that we'll see Brito again at some point. I mean, it's the Yankees rotation. So.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to end up dying on this Florial hill, but I got to talk about him. I am. It's last night he hit his 12th home run.
Right.
His batting average is over 300. His OPS is it 1100 now?
It's 1808. It's 1880.
No, that was for last.
It's 1080. 1080 last week. Well, no, he's up to 1080, right?
And last week his OPS was just absolutely ridiculous. He homered in his first at bat in 4 straight games?
3 straight games, I believe it was, but 4 overall.
Okay. I mean, he's just tearing the cover off the ball, and he's an actual outfielder that gives you plus defense, plus arm. Jake Bauers isn't doing anything. IKF, I mean, he had a good week, but that's his second good week in 2 years. And we're just not getting anything out of that position. Why can't we give this kid a shot? 100 at-bats, 150 at-bats.
I don't know. I'm definitely in agreement with you. He's 322. He's hitting 322 on the season, 437 OBP, 1080 OPS, 20 extra base hits, 12 home runs, 10 stolen bases. His walk rate is almost 18%. The K rate is at 33%. It's something that people are going to harp on forever, but the guy's getting on. The guy's putting the ball in play. He's getting on base. He's walking. He's got power. Like you said, he plays defense. He's got a great arm. I don't know what else the guy can do.
I remember something very interesting that I read about him is that his batting average in balls in play has always been extremely high. And everybody says that's not sustainable.
That's funny. I read that last year. I think his BABIP was 380, and the same thing. People, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. This year it's over 400.
Right. And if you go all the way back to his A ball numbers, it's the same way. Every level he has been, his batting average and ball in play has been incredibly high. And at what point do you say, is this possibly?
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Kind of like his strikeout rate.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna give ourselves a migraine if we keep talking about him. But
I memean, but yeah, it makes sense because, and again, we're not saying he's a superstar. We're not saying he's a mega prospect, nothing like that. We're saying give him a shot. Let's see how this translates onto the field. And you can't say people say, oh well, he's had whatever it is, 80 at bats.
No, he's had 54.
No. I'm talking about over the last 2 years. He's had 100 at bat. Yeah, but you're talking about split over 2 seasons. And again, people who say that only point to 2022. They never want to look at 2021. And if you bring up 2021, oh, that's a small sample size. But 2022, that's not a small sample size, oddly enough.
It's 54 major league at bats, no matter what you want to look at it from the last 3 years. That's not enough to be able to say he's a 4A player. He can't hit at the major league level.
Correct.
He's a slow adjuster. Anyway, I could go on for that for way too long. So let's get to AA. Who was your player of the week there?
My player of the week at AA was Everson, probably TJ Rumsfeld, to be honest with you. He hit 350, 381, 2 extra bases, 3 RBIs. For the month of May, Rumsfeld's hitting 300 with a 978 OPS. 8 extra base hits, 4 home runs, which is something that's not typical of him.
No, it's not.
He's coming into his power right now, so it'd be interesting to see where he ends up.
Yeah, if he gets a little bit more power in that swing, I think that there's a good chance that he ends up an actual major league first base prospect. He's got a big body. He's makes a beautiful target over at first base, and he's got that bit left-handed swing. It's a really good swing. It just doesn't produce as much power. And if he can get power, watch out.
Yeah. I'm interested to see where it goes because, like you were just saying, if he comes into that power and he's in that swing, we'll see where he ends up.
Yeah, when you're that size and if your power's good, you'll get a shot somewhere.
The other guy I wanted to talk about was Everson.
Yes,
Pereira. He's got an average up to 280, 856 OPS. We're looking at 18 extra base hits, 7 home runs. For the month of May, Pereira is hitting 302, 365, 11 extra base hits, and 6 home runs. He's just hot right now. Looking at his last 13 games, he's hitting 378.
He is just such a streaky guy. Like we saw in 2021, where he hit 20 home runs and less than 200 at bats. When Pereira gets hot, he puts up numbers in bunches.
Yes.
We talked a couple weeks ago where we were wondering which one of the guys in AA was probably going to see the first call up. And I thought it would be Dominguez because of what he did in spring training. But the way Everson's played this month, it's got to be him.
I mean, I think he had a stronger shot because he's already on the 40-man.
Right.
And right now he's just playing so well for the month, as we're wrapping up this month. I'm excited to see what else he does come June. We already know that when he's on, everything for him comes in bunches, especially the home runs. So it'll be interesting to see how many he does hit in the month of June.
And another thing that should be said is that he can play good defense at all 3 outfield positions. He's not just a corner guy. He can play center.
Yeah, he can play center.
And probably long term. I would say he's got a better chance of being a long-term center fielder than Dominguez.
I would say he looks a little more natural in center field than Jason does.
Yeah. What else in AA? Sweeney kind of had a week.
He's had a month, to be honest with you. He's hitting 226. On base is there, 383. But he's only hit 1 home run in a month, which is funny, which is weird because, like we spoke about this before, he hit 16 home runs last season, and there just seems to be a lack of power from him far.
But he's got 12 doubles.
Or
11 doubles.
I know he's got 10 extra base hits. I don't think it's 11. I think he has maybe 6 or 8.
thought, oh, it's Jones that has the double-digit doubles already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But Pereira's got close to 10, I think.
Pereira has more. Has an extra. Pereira has, yeah, I think he has 10 doubles.
Yeah.
But
So,
Sweeney's around 6 or 8.
okay. Oh, I got those two mixed up. I was thinking, goodness. Where's my head?
Yeah, I mean, and it's weird because Trey started really hot, and I actually thought he was in March or the month before, he was probably the best of the top 10 players offensive wise.
Yeah, he really got off to a good start, and that's why I think his stock is kind of flat. He had a good month, a bad month. There's not really you can take him away from that. Need to see more. What else in AA?
I was looking at Jason's numbers. Jason's hitting 244, 361 with a 794 OPS, 7 extra base hits, 5 home runs in the month. So it's a much better month than the previous month, offensive wise.
Yes, it is. How much of that has to do with Austin Wells behind him, though?
I looked at that last month. I don't remember what it was, but there was a slight bump in his numbers after Wells hitting behind him. And oddly enough, I was looking at that yesterday, and it was Pereira hitting behind him yesterday. So they bumped him. They moved Pereira up. They flip-flopped them.
Okay. I still believe Jason is going to be the left fielder at some point this year. I just think the Yankees brass want that. Like they want to do.
I could see that. I could see that because he's pretty much playing 50-50 right now.
Right. And I think they're waiting on him just like they waited on Volpe. And it doesn't matter who else is going to deserve a shot maybe before him. I think he's the one that's going to get it.
It could be. It could be. The other guy that I'm really waiting for him. I mean, I don't know what the Josh Bro situation does for Austin Wells getting to Scranton now, because now you have a complete glut of catchers up there. I
mean, you have 5 guys within double and triple A, and 3 more on the major league roster. I mean,
at Scranton, you're gonna have Narvaez, Duran, now Bro. Probably Rortvet will be back at some point, I'm assuming. So there's 4 catchers there. I don't know where there's going to find playing time for them.
No, they're going to have to DFA or trade somebody. There's just not enough room for those guys. Clayton Beaters, how was his week? He had a good start.
Yeah, he did. He had a good bounce back game. 5 innings, 5 shutout innings, 1 hit, 6 Ks. He did have 3 walks, which now makes back-to-back games for 3 walks with him. But he is the organizational leader in ERA with 3.03.
Yeah. He's been good. It's just, I want to see him bump up to AAA to see how much the ball has to do with his improved control this year versus adjustments. I just want to see if having more tack on the ball is making him be able to land that changeup that he added this winter so much more effectively.
I didn't really notice it from him last month that the walks were an issue of concern last month.
No, they're not.
I gotta go back and look, but I didn't notice it last month. But this month I have. I think from what I recall, his number of walks have doubled this month. But I don't know what's causing that. If it's mechanics, is out of wax, or whatever it might be. But I need to go back and look at that again.
Could be a number of things. It's minor league pitchers. They struggle.
Richard Fitz probably had the best game this week. 6 innings, 5 Ks, again a shutout, 5 hits and a walk, which is good for him, or good to see that from him because he had been struggling for a bit.
And we had somebody come back that's really exciting, Yandry Gomes.
Yes, Gomez is back. He threw 3 shutout innings, no hits, 1 walk, 3 Ks. I think I saw him up to 96, I want to say.
Yeah, I think that's
it was a good game.
He'll get up to AAA soon as he rehabs. I think we'll see him in the majors this year.
I mean, I don't know how hard they'll push him because he's coming off of back-to-back seasons where he's had or he started the season on the IL. But he definitely was a guy that I expected to be in the Bronx at some point this season, especially coming out of spring training. He pitched really well.
Yeah, he did. But This is a guy that the Yankees have to believe a ton in, because he's been on the 40-man roster since 21, 20 or 21, and has pitched like 200 innings in the last 3 years or something. And he's still on that 40-man. If they didn't believe in this kid big time, they would have let him go, traded in something.
Yeah, he would have been gone a while ago.
Yeah. I think he has got one of the highest ceilings as a starter in the system if he puts it all together.
Yeah, definitely one of the guys that the Yankees definitely believe in, because like you said, he's been on the 40-man for a while. And when he does pitch, when he is on the mound, he does pitch very well.
Yeah, he does. Anybody else at Double A you want to touch on?
No, I think that's probably it.
Okay, High A. I know everyone's expecting us to talk about Spencer Jones, but Aaron Polinsky has been just stupid hot.
Yeah, this week he hit 619, 680 on base, 1918 OPS, 8 extra base hits, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. I don't know what else to say about the guy. He's hitting 352 on the season, 1178 OPS, 23 extra base hits, 12 home runs. Phenomenal season from him.
Yeah. What's the weight on getting him up a level, do you think?
I think it's probably that the glut of outfielders at Somerset, and I think Lockridge is probably the guy that they're waiting to move to Scranton, and then you might see Polinsky at that point. Because I don't think you want a guy who's playing this well. I don't think you want to call him up and have him play every other day or every
that's a really you made a really good point about
you want to see if it's legit.
Yeah,
you want to see if it's legit.
Now Jones has been struggling, a lot. That strikeout rate isn't cute. The walk rate
34.1, which is higher than Florial at this point, and he's also got 4 errors on the season.
And the walk rate isn't cute.
Not walking much.
See, the scout that I talked to said that he got off to a really, really hot start, and pitchers started pitching around him a little bit more, and he started chasing and to keep hitting. And then his mechanics got all out of whack. We saw that slump 2 weeks ago. And he went back into the slump because he started chasing again.
Right. I mean, but I think that's the sign of that we look for in the progression from a player, right? When you say, okay, they're not throwing me strikes because they know I'm hammering it. I got to stop chasing, because the moment you stop, I know it's easy to say stop chasing, and then they'll come back into the zone and you'll be able to, hammer or hit strikes hard, as the Yankees say. But if you keep chasing, they're not going to throw you strikes.
No. And I think that's the issue with him, is that he's just not seeing enough hard strikes to hit right now, and his mechanics are out. I'm not down on his ceiling, but it's a little time to pause and say, let's give the kid another 100 at bats at High A and see if he can get that strikeout rate down to 25%, because that's not going to get better going up.
No, and I the same for me. I'm not souring on him or anything like that, but I'm just saying let's pump the brakes. And now I'm wondering, well, 2024 might not be realistic. It might be more of a hope and see, because that's concerning. I'm not typically a guy that says, oh, he strikes out too much if you're walking, but he's not hitting, he's not walking, he's just striking out right now. I mean, he's pretty much a strikeout machine at this point, which is unfortunate. So it's a wall that he's got to figure out.
And like I've said before, the tools in the ceiling are so high that I think he grabbed us with those, and we didn't see more of the flaws that there are at the plate, and they got overlooked. I think he has a perfect opportunity right now to adjust and then hurry up to the next level. But I don't think
I just want to say real quick that I was not one of those people. I was not one of those people who was instantly enamored by the numbers he was putting up. I said, I know you were. I said, wait a minute. I said, I always told you, I was like, wait a minute. Yes, he looks good, but so far right now, all he's doing is winning. He hasn't really faced any challenges. Let's at least wait until he's challenged. That's what I've always said.
Yes, it was. And admittedly, I thought he got that challenge 3 weeks ago when he went through that slump and then came out just on fire.
Yeah, he did go through a really bad stretch where I remember if I remember correctly, it was like I think he had like 22 strikeouts, just one walk, and he
Yeah,
was not hitting at all. And then he came back. He came back. He hit really well for a week, maybe two, and then he looks like he's back in there again.
yeah. Vargas.
Which which is a perfect segment into Vargas.
Yes.
Vargas this week hit 417, 1023 OPS, 3 extra base hits, 4 RBIs, and a walk. He had a really good week, especially coming off of what he did the previous week where he just struggled badly. So
Previous 2 weeks where he struggled pretty badly.
Yeah. So he's still being inconsistent. But when he's on, and he's very exciting when he's on. So it's still he's still figuring things out, I guess.
Yeah, but he's another one that Kylie McDaniels, who I think is probably the best prospect analyst of the big site. He went up 2 future value grades in Kylie's most recent release.
Right.
Do you agree with a full 2?
To be honest with you, I was surprised to see him there. I was very surprised to see him there. I think maybe what I'm going to assume is that he probably started writing that when Vargas was hot.
Yeah.
Because if you noticed, Peraza was on his list as well. And Peraza is no longer a prospect. He's graduated up. I believe he's already graduated from the top 30.
Yeah, just recently, I think.
Yeah.
Another guy in high A that also jumped 2 future values that we wanted to touch on was Chase Hampton.
Yeah.
This kid is looking like he's probably the best pitcher that was drafted out of that class last year. Our staff writer, Jin Wook, did a really nice breakdown on him. Fastball is 94 to 97, 98. What else? He throws a curveball that's really that's a pretty 12-6 curveball. He throws a slider and a changeup. And I believe he throws a cutter too. He's got the full pitch mix. There's not much.
He's got a four pitch repertoire.
Yeah.
I don't have them in front of me what they are.
No, that's fine.
He had a nice game this week. As you know, 5 1/3, 10 strikeouts, 2 runs. I really like the guy. And I mean, I can't speak more highly of him.
No, I think he's going to be really good. And the moxie that he has on the mound, I believe those 2 runs both came up on solo shots that he gave up.
I don't remember. I think that, you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah. So, a pitcher gives up a 1-run home run. It's baseball. It happens. It's limiting the damage after that. And he did a very good job of that.
I mean, I can't speak more highly of Chase.
No, I can't.
For me, he's a very interesting prospect. I love to watch him when he's on the mound, and he's definitely one of my favorite guys down there at Hudson.
Okay, going to another pitcher at Hudson, Thorpe.
Thorpe. I think Thorpe had a rough game yesterday. I think it was yesterday.
He had a really tough first inning and then settled down.
Correct. I was going to say he gave up, I think, 3 runs in the first innings, gave up 4 on the night. But yeah, he did settle down, which is something you want to see, right? When things are going wrong, you want to see a pitcher be able to try to right the ship. Especially
when they're that young. If they can turn it around, that's a very positive sign. Juan Corella had a heck of a start too this week.
Yep. Pitched into the 7th inning. Gave up no earned runs, 3 strikeouts. That's another guy that I like a lot is Juan Corella.
I do too.
He racks up strikeouts.
Good stuff. I've been hearing about him for 3 or 4 years, and he's got all the tools to be a very good starting pitcher long term.
Yeah.
Yuli, what did he do this week?
He had a rough game. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think he had a rough week. I think he had like 6 runs in his start.
Yeah, I believe that was right.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the other 3 guys that I did want to mention for this week were Bailey Dees, who threw 3 innings, 5 strikeouts, no runs. You got Jack Neely, 2 1/3, 7 strikeouts, no hits. And then Danny Watson, who I really, really like. 3 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, just 1 hit.
Right. No,
Watson on the season up to 24 in the 3rd innings, 39 strikeouts.
wow. Now, all 3 of those guys were drafted last year or 2 years ago.
I think Watson was last year and Dees as well. I'm not 100% sure of Kneeling.
Okay. But they're all 3, 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah, they're part of that huge
yeah.
pitching group of guys that the Yankees have been drafting for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah. And they were drafted as relievers and they're developing as relievers and they're doing a good job with it. Yeah. I think those 3 are going to see. It's kind of what they did with Carson Coleman before he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I think those 3 are going to be impact arms out of a bullpen somewhere. Yeah. We have any other offensive performances in Hudson Valley?
I think for Hudson Valley, I was probably the only guys that was going to mention today.
Okay, so we have Tampa left.
Tampa, Nelson Medina is always on this list. 357 this week. At the 1009 OPS, he hit a home run, 2 RBIs. Augustin Ramirez, 294. Another run, catcher. 5 RBIs. Yeah, he's another guy who seems to be turning it on as of late. Yeah,
he's probably my favorite catching prospect at the lower level right now.
Definitely mine. Definitely mine.
Yeah. He needs to improve his defense a little bit, but the bat is
legit.
Yeah, the bat is well above average.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you were at the Tampa game this weekend. Why don't we hear about it from you? What did you see?
Unfortunately, this is the 2nd or 3rd game that I go to see for Tampa, and Ramirez is not in the lineup, which is super annoying.
Yeah.
It was a heartbreaking loss is what they had. I think I did watch Jared Serna, who did I think he went 1 for 5 in that game. Dari Arias hit a grand slam in that game, which was super exciting. They lost, I think, in the 10th inning, I want to say. I don't remember. It was basically a game-winning hit from the Cardinals team. It was a heartbreaker. It was a heartbreaking loss for them.
So, did you get to talk to any of the kids down there? Or?
No, I got there a little late, hit some traffic, and I left my house a little late. I spoke to Serna for a little bit, Augustine as well, but I didn't get really to talk to everybody else. I wanted to talk to other guys like Brock. I didn't get to do that. Nelson a little bit as well, but I didn't get to do that. But we'll see. Maybe the next time they're down around this area.
And Lang was on the mound while you were there.
Lang was on the mound. He didn't seem to have it on this day. He was hit pretty hard early on. I think he gave up 3 hits, 2 or 3 walks. I think they scored 3-4 runs in that first inning, and he would immediately pull the next inning. I think they had Yorlin Calderon warming up before there was even 2 outs in the innings, which was a little surprising to me. I thought Lang would have at least been given an opportunity to come back out there and maybe see if it was just a bad first or rocky first inning and he would settle in, but it didn't happen. They pulled him in the 2nd inning.
Right. And anybody else at low A you want to touch on?
Hayden Murta had a really good game.
He did.
Yeah, 6 shutout innings, 8 Ks. He was a 17th round pick last season. This was by far his best game of the season.
Yeah, it was.
So you also had Brock Selvage this week, 6 innings, just 1 earned run, 4 Ks. Pretty good season so far from Selvage, from what I remember. Looking over his numbers.
Yeah, he was somebody out of high school when we drafted him that was supposed to be an early 1st round pick, and his velo went way down in the spring, so he fell. But he's got a really high ceiling. He could be a really good pitcher down the road.
He could be. He's shown a lot of flashes of that too.
Yeah.
He's had, I don't remember how many starts he's had this season, but I know he's had a few really good games. But still an interesting prospect and a guy that I definitely want to continue to see and hopefully continue to watch him as he gets to Hudson.
Yeah. Now next week we get excited.
Next week?
No, the DSL and FCL is starting.
Yes. That starts on Monday.
I can't either.
I know a lot of people are asking about Roderick. A lot of people are asking about Brando Maya. So we'll finally get to see them in
Emmanuel Tejada.
Yes. Emmanuel Tejada is one guy. Carlos Lagrange, Henry Lane, Jordan Mendoza. Just a lot of exciting guys coming up.
Some of our best arms, talent-wise, are down there, and it's
some of the most exciting arms that are down there. Yeah,
absolutely. So, you have anything else you want to touch on this week, Los, or what's going on?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Again, the DSL and the FCL starts on the 5th, which is Monday, the following Monday, I believe. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, so am I. I'm really excited about that. So, Los, as always, it was a pleasure. Where can we find you during the week?
You guys can find me at Yankees Farm all across the social media platforms. We're talking about Instagram, Twitter, and also here.
Yeah. And you can find me at DMH0726 on Twitter. And guys, if you have any questions you have us interested in answering, please leave them in the comments below. We'll get to, if there's a ton of them, we'll get to at least 2 or 3. Anything that you want us to discuss, please leave it in the notes and we'll get to it.
And if there's a video of anybody you want to see, just let us know.
Yeah, please. If there's videos, if there's write-ups, if you have more questions, just let us know and we'll get to it. And always check out NyynewsTV.com for the farm report, and we'll go from there. Sound good?